Hey folks, it's Phil again, and yesterday was WWE Payback 2016, and of course I'm gonna give you a short review. Well, first I gotta mention that I watched the pay-per-view event with 4 friends of mine, respectively 3 because one had to go earlier because of his work. Well, the WWE Payback event, I'm gonna go on a limb here and say it's an event that not everybody will like, but well, let's start off with the kickoff show. And the kickoff show there was the first upset for me because Dolph Ziggler versus Baron Corbin. It was a rather short match. Well, it was okay that it wasn't a kickoff show, but let's be honest here. Dolph Ziggler loses against everybody else, loses all matches of at least some importance. And then you have Baron Corbin's big debut on the main roster. Well, it's not exactly his debut, but his first big singles match, aside from the Battle Royal, which he won. And you have a big strong heel who's supposed to be a threat to Dolph Ziggler. And then of course you have the classic roll-up finish. First of all, Ziggler always needs a win, but against Baron Corbin. Now I practically can see where this storyline is going. Baron Corbin is furious because Dolph Ziggler outsmarted him, and that's a bad start for a heel like Baron Corbin. He needs to be dominant, and he dominated Ziggler. He destroyed him practically, with Ziggler getting his classic hope spots, or classic face hope spots, but in the end, a roll-up win. That's a finish that doesn't help Dolph Ziggler. It does nothing for Baron Corbin. He looks stupid, and thus, if this continues in the same manner, Baron Corbin is dead right from the start, and that's not wise booking. The next match was the WWE United States title match between Kalisto and Ryback. And well, I was a little bit surprised that Kalisto retained here because, well, as much as I like Kalisto, and as much I was surprised that he had a few, not exactly botches, but a few stuff that was not exactly as smooth as I'm used from Samurai de Soul / Kalisto. And I still don't see where this is going with him being the United States champion, because in order to elevate the title back to some prestige, you need to have important bouts, or bouts that feel important. And as okay as this match was, it didn't feel important. That's not how to elevate the title further, and how to have a mid-card title that builds up future main eventers. Now on to the main show. It started off with the #1 tag team title contendership tournament final, and well, I'm not gonna rate this match. It started off nice, but well, there was a little accident with Enzo Amore. Was supposed to slide under the ring ropes, and his head hit the second rope, his arm hit the first rope, and he slid through and lay on the ground like he was dead. And of course, at first it was a huge shock, but luckily enough, he just got a concussion. It seems. Still, it's always bad to see such an accident happen. Not because it destroyed a possibly good match, but you have a performer, and this accident really looked bad, because I know that the ropes inside of the red stuff we see, there's a steel rope, and if you really slide into it and hit it with your head, that's, well, the really bad things can happen. And especially how he hit it, he could have injured his neck or stuff like that. And apparently nothing too bad did happen, but well, hopefully he'll get better very soon. So I'm not gonna rate this match because it wouldn't make sense. It would be unfair to rate stuff like this and yeah, rate it bad or worse than it was because of an accident. So hopefully Enzo Amore gets well soon, and yeah, on to the next match. And it was the match of the night: Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Well, enough said here. It was a great match of the night, and of course Owens and Zayn, they deliver, and they have always delivered together, and so did they here. It was a great match. Then Owens, after his win, sat there on the commentary table and commentated on the Miz Cesaro IC title match, and well, apparently he did it for one reason only, so that Sami Zayn could come out again, beat him up, and now that's the thing I really hated about the Miz Cesaro match, the IC title match. It wasn't a bad match. Cesaro is a capable performer, and of course he can drag the Miz to a decent match. But the finish, I mean, come on, WWE, what the fuck? That was our main reaction here in our round. What the fuck, honestly. A friend of mine, and there is a video to prove that, a friend of mine had some, like Jägermeister, some cheap Jägermeister knockoff, or Jägermeister-like drink. The bottle was half full, and he said, if the Miz wins this thing, I'm gonna chunk down the whole bottle in one sip. And well, he did. And even if he wouldn't have said it before that he would do it, well, the way the finish went, and we all wanted to do that, and the stuff, I doubt it tasted good. My whiskey was way better. So you have this decent match, and of course Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens brawl outside the ring. So why the fuck does the ref care for it? It doesn't have to do anything with this match. And of course he doesn't see the Miz tapping out to Cesaro. Of course the two brawl on the apron, and Cesaro is furious, pushes them down, and the Miz wins via roll-up. The second roll-up finish in the same night, in a bout that could have had some meaning. And yeah, the way it is now, it's more like, they want to have they don't know what to do for the Intercontinental title at Extreme Rules. Now they want to have a four-way. And I don't care who wins this, but a Cesaro, Zayn, Owens feud could have happened without the Miz being the champion. So, well, that was a real bummer, and it destroyed an otherwise perfectly decent match. Then we had Dean Ambrose versus Chris Jericho, and let's be honest here, the match wasn't bad by any means. Well, but somehow it was a little boring, and I gotta admit, I always was a fan of Chris Jericho. Not everybody in the at our viewing party was. Some people actively didn't like him, never did like him. But I gotta admit, since Jericho has returned, he seems a little bit, well, is it ring rust? I don't know. Is it that he is maybe a little bit too old, or he doesn't care enough anymore for the business? I don't know. But it becomes more and more apparent that his spots, and it's the same with RVD. RVD was, in his prime, a risk taker, a daredevil who botched a lot of stuff, but, well, with all the bad came a lot of good, and, well, there was spectacular stuff and a lot of stuff that just didn't exactly work. Didn't matter in ECW. With Chris Jericho, he always was a great technician. He had some high-flying stuff, he always had great heel work, and he was a good technical wrestler. So, what happened? Most of his stuff looks very choreographed, even more than a pro wrestling match should be. It's not as bad as with Mike Quackenbush, Mike Quackenbush. But Chris Jericho, well, his Walls of Jericho look like a lame-ass Boston crab now, while in his prime he really cinched it in. And I don't know, it just doesn't feel as natural as it did with Chris Jericho, and somehow, it's hard to say, or it's not nice to say, but at times it feels like he lost a little bit of his inner flame for wrestling. Because, yeah, you know what I mean. That's the match. Of course, Chris Jericho still is a good performer, but, well, the match with Dean Ambrose wasn't what it could have been. With a Chris Jericho as good as, well, maybe even 2009, 2008, 2009, Jericho still had this flame, which he apparently lacks now. Then the WWE Women's Title match, Charlotte versus Natalya, and, well, I'm going to be honest here. I doubted that Natalya would win. I hope for it, because we have Ric Flair with Charlotte at ringside, Charlotte with Ric Flair at ringside, and Natalya with Bret Hart at ringside. So the Flair factor is, yeah, cut right out, because Bret Hart could interfere on Natalya's behalf and, yeah, prevent Ric Flair doing so, or costing Natalya the match. And yes, that could have been a nice match, because in the ring both always knew what to do. But it was, yeah, I wouldn't say the worst encounter. The other two encounters were better. The match itself wasn't bad by any means. It was a good match, but the finish again. I mean, come on, it's not 1997 anymore. It's not a Survivor Series, and we all get that the Montreal Screwjob happened. It was a good decision at the time. I agree with Vince on that. That it was a good decision, not a nice decision, but a good decision and the right decision. Most likely. So why the fuck would they book another Montreal Screwjob? I mean, there was no Vince McMahon there who ring the bell, ring the bell. It appears like the referee was bribed to ring the bell, and I mean, come on, come on. That's just a finish that further, yeah, that says the match or the feud between Charlotte and Natalya is not over. Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks and Paige are on the sidelines once more. And goddammit, if it doesn't end with Natalya getting the title she deserves, and maybe Charlotte turning against her father, this all was stupid. Or for nothing. It was stupid anyway, because, I mean, a Montreal Screwjob, knockoff, homage, whatever you want to call it, in 2016 in a match between Ric Flair's daughter, Ric Flair, who wasn't even in the company at that time, and, yeah, Bret Hart. Yeah, being in the at ringside for his niece. I mean, come on, that's just horrible booking. And if we had another Feldschlösschen bottle, I think we all would have drank one. Like, because that's just, I mean, come on, that's one of the worst finishes I have ever seen in wrestling, including TNA. And of course, in the end, we had the world's heavyweight title no countout, no disqualification match. The no countout, no disqualification was added because, well, AJ Styles won the match via countout. And Shane comes out, we can't end a world title match with countout, not on my watch, because there was a huge promo before the match, and, well, we were all a little bit distracted and didn't care for the promo at all. It was like Vince McMahon, who honestly didn't look good anymore, was like, well, I don't fucking care, rip each other's throats out, you both are now in charge of Raw, have fun, I'm gonna have it. So, yeah, makes the Undertaker Shane match at WrestleMania absolutely obsolete. And in the end, this whole stuff, it horrible. But, well, Shane comes out. We can end on my watch. We won't end a world heavyweight title pay-per-view main event like that. Let's make this no countout. And in that moment, I said, well, we all know what's going to happen. Steph is going to come out sooner or later and declare this a no DQ match because something else happened. Or would happen. And of course it did. There was a hit or there was it went a little bit wrong, and Roman Reigns hit AJ's crotch, and well, of course we can end a pay-per-view main event for the world title on a DQ, because that never happened in the history of wrestling or WWE. So they didn't do that, and of course well, the match continued, and Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows interfered. The Usos interfered. I mean, come on, Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson I can understand because of the history with AJ Styles, because of them being the new guys, and they have to be established as a top level threat right from the beginning. The Usos, well, I get their connection with Roman Reigns, but honestly, in the main event, Dean Ambrose, I would have understood. But anyway, a lot of overbooking, and in the end, Roman Reigns hits the spear, bam, and 1, 2, 3, and effectively he won cleanly. Because it was a no DQ match, both got interference on their behalf, so to speak, and done. Great booking. Nobody likes Roman Reigns more after this match and this finish. AJ gains nothing from it. With the count-out finish or a DQ finish, he would have gained something. He would have, hey, you didn't beat me. But this way, effectively, he was beaten clean. And why? If there was a huge turn, or the Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson turned on AJ, or towards Roman Reigns, or I don't know, I don't care. In the end, nothing of importance happened in this match, and Roman Reigns just won. Given that the fans apparently hate him and apparently don't want to see him as champion, wise decision, guys. Really wise decision. Well, the match itself, of course, it wasn't bad, because Roman can go if he has the opponent to carry him, and AJ certainly can carry him. But in the end, well. So, Payback 2016. I said it in the previews. It had a lot of potential to be good, to be a very interesting pay-per-view with a lot of good matches. The tag team tournament final, as I said, you can't rate it. Zayn Owens delivered. The Miz Cesaro was okay, but bad booking. Dean Ambrose, Chris Jericho was okay, but not as good as it could have been. Charlotte versus Natalya, good match, bad booking. Reigns Styles, good match, bad booking. So the gist I get from this pay-per-view is, well, we can deliver in the ring, but we won't satisfy you with good, decent finishes. So it wasn't a bad pay-per-view, but I wouldn't exactly say that I was satisfied after the event. And WWE once again managed to have a card that had a lot of potential and make almost the worst they could have done with it, out of it. Well, it was a decent pay-per-view in the end, because the match quality wasn't bad, but the finishes, were a lot of finishes that just stunk. So hopefully at Extreme Rules we'll have matches as good as they were here at Payback, but with good finishes that match the quality of the in-ring work. So hopefully you'll tune in next time. Yours, Ugly